So that's going to be a wrap up of the whole week of development and progress of what we've done in the past 7 days in Uniflow by every single developer and me. So I will start from what we are actually achieved, because we did quite a lot and quite well, I would say, from Nella making sure that we have all of the stuff on the website with Fortune. They were working together to complete their website, and now the website is fully out over there after some errors that we had during the week last week that I had to solve in terms of the backend and the server side. It took me 3 days to 4 days actually to solve them, but it's done. The website is out. It's new old website. It's old because the design is old. It's new because we've changed the code inside of it, so it's a little bit more responsive. It's better, and it has way more pages to go to, and it's also SEO friendly, which was one of my goals why I did it in the first place, and why we actually took last 2 months to make sure that website is SEO friendly and everything is, responsive and works over there properly. It wasn't easy, but it's done. It's not perfect, but it's there. The text is there. That's the most important. We're gonna improve it over time. For now, we leave it. It's good. On the mobile side, we actually, Ravin managed to do quite a lot of stuff in terms of the UI and implementation of the APIs for the piggy banks, which is my last section for the version 1, and more section where we moved stuff from the settings, we move it over there, so it's a little bit more clear, straightforward, and easy to navigate. And I'm super happy because it's beautiful. He did a beautiful job. Chris actually managed to create a completely new flow from the introduction to the cash flow to the rest of the pages, where we can onboard people from 204 countries. Each of the countries obviously will have different possibilities to use our application, because some of the countries won't be able to connect their bank account, so therefore they won't be able to use certain functionalities of the app. But the goal over here was that we actually can onboard those 204 countries, because we can check identities of those people, of the people from those countries, and so that has been achieved. Right now we are having the last step for the next 2 days that will allow us to take the payments, and so hopefully by Wednesday that version, the new version that we've been working for 2.5 months on, will be done, will be ready, will be finished. And then the next step, Ravin knows that from the next week he will focus on implementing new languages, because if we have so many countries, we need to have different languages for the UI and UX, UX really, user experience. So that's the goal. On the web application, we have the full dashboard done with all of the APIs implemented. Now this week we need to finish the registration process and decentralization of the businesses. So that's the goal for this week for Nikiuka, and make sure that we are finishing the 4-year business plan. So hopefully by the end of the next month we can start onboarding first business users and start generating some first revenue from them. Obviously I would like to, as soon as possible, start generating revenue from the normal users, not business, like individuals like me, like you, because unfortunately we cannot afford to run the business without any income. So but yeah, there is a big chunk of the application that is completely free, and it brings so much value to the people who doesn't know how to manage their money, and also will create for every single user decentralized identity that will allow people to own their data, own their money, and be independent from governments, big institutions. In the long term, it will also allow people to identify themselves in the banks identify themselves in the pubs, in the restaurants, online. And so that's why we are charging small fee every single year for identification and checking whether that identity is actually correct and it's always there. And the correct person still owns the account and the phone hasn't been stolen, because we as Uniflow, we do not own any data. All of the data is decentralized, therefore it allows us to never lose your data really. So even if once we or when we will have a breach, or maybe we'll never have, but majority of the companies has, even when we will have a breach, we will not lose any of the data of our customers, because we literally don't store it. So that gives us the security of your data in our application on the highest possible level. And so Enrique is still working on the new version of digital identity that we want to implement. Right now we are using someone else's blockchain, and he's working on doing that in our own terms, because using someone else's, it gives us a lot of limitations, unfortunately. Shivam created so many APIs, corrected some of them. He's now working on both business and mobile, because David doesn't work with us and I don't really have time to look for the new person right now, because the goal over here is that we release everything, we start generating revenue, and I'm in the process really of contacting investors. But last week I wasn't able to really message anyone. I had 2 meetings. I was able to connect with over 300 investors on different platforms. I think 50 of them was on LinkedIn. After LinkedIn blocked me on Wednesday and Thursday, I had to go and look for the investors somewhere else. So I did connect with a lot of them. I didn't get any response yet from majority of them, unfortunately, on those different platforms. But yeah, hey ho. Tomorrow is the day for me again start sending those messages to all of the investors that I have connected over the past 2 weeks. So this week's gonna hopefully be very, very successful in terms of sending those connections. For today, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed that. I see you tomorrow.